Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, the final debate is over, done and dusted. They are politicians, and as with politicians in this country, can they be trusted? And whoever gets in, what impact will it have on America and indeed the UK? We know about the emails of Clinton, but how many of us has sifted through them and read them? We know about Trump's view on immigration. Who is lying and who is telling the truth? Are they both lying? Questions I want answered. We know about the emails of Clinton, but how many of us has sifted through them and read them? We know about Trump's view on immigration. Who is lying and who is telling the truth? Are they both lying? Questions I, for one, want answered. Now, I don't like being lied to. I don't like the feeling that someone thinks they can pull the wool over my eyes. So which one of these candidates is trying to do that? Well, let's start with Mr. Donald Trump. Now, I have my own views on Donald Trump, but I want to remain impartial. I give my thoughts and you decide for yourself. So, Donald Trump in a debate said this.
You've also donated to several Democratic candidates, Hillary Clinton included, Nancy Pelosi. You explained away those donations saying you did that to get business-related favors. And you said recently, quote, when you give, they do whatever the hell you want them to do. You better believe it. So what specifically did they do? If I ask them, if I need them, you know, most of the people on this stage I've given to.
Notice these candidates never said anything, never denied it. Someone did, but why didn't they? Now, is it wrong to declare this? Is it? I'm asking. He has and still is being criticised for saying this. Barack Obama slated him also for this.
I don't even really know where to start on answering this question. Of course the elections will not be rigged. What does that mean? The federal government doesn't run the election process. If Mr. Trump is suggesting that there is a conspiracy theory that is being propagated across the country, including in places like Texas, where typically it's not Democrats who are in charge of voting booths, that's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense, and I don't think anybody would take that seriously.
Free thinkers among us, though, would say the same, wouldn't we? There is evidence out there that the system in this country certainly is manufactured. Manufactured in a way to keep us calm, to keep us from kicking off. This is what happens when you don't have the facade of a democracy, when you don't have the facility to vote. And I use that term loosely. So is it rigged? Is the leader of any country that could be called a democratic country already chosen for us? But with Clinton, the emails of Clinton, well over 33,000 now, and I have read a few. I was pointed in this direction by someone. There are a serious amount of emails that were sent to the Rothschilds. Now, we all know who they are. I don't have to explain, although I will say the most well-known Rothschild patriarch, Mayer Amschel Rothschild, once said, "Give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes its laws." But in them emails, it points to the fact that she has a very close bond to certain members of that family. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild wrote an email on April the 18th, 2010, in which she tells Hillary she would love to catch up, and I remain your loyal, adoring pal. Now, Clinton responds, let's make that happen, and signs her response, much love H. Less than 2 months ago, Clinton flew just 20 miles in a private jet to attend a private Rothschild fundraiser in her honour. Yet, this is just one of the latest examples of her intimate relationship to the banking dynasty. But why would you do that? Why would you go on a private jet to travel just 20 miles to see one of the, if not the richest family alive, who own and control nearly every central bank in the world, therefore controlling just about every international economy? As I have said before, I have a couple of people in the background of this channel that casually in passing find stuff out and tell me what they think, because they think on the same wavelength as me. And they pointed me in the direction of something that disturbs me, and I share his opinion. It's that Clinton asked Tony Blair at the time of his reign at number 10 to go with her to Israel for the Middle East peace negotiations that were happening at the time. And Tony Blair had previously planned to spend the weekend in Aspen, Colorado with the Rothschilds at an unspecified conference, but he accepted Clinton's invitation. Now you would think two fairly powerful people, heads of governments, going to peace negotiations would be fairly, if not vitally important. Why then would Hillary be almost begging for forgiveness from what could be termed as private citizens? And I quote, "Hope you all understand. Let me know what penance I owe you." Now, as my friend said, that's a pretty strong word, and I have to agree. The definition of penance, by the way, an act of self-mortification or devotion performed voluntarily to show sorrow for a sin or another wrongdoing. But is it really wrong for one government leader to ask another to negotiate on what could well lead to peace? And what act of mortification is she going to take part in? Where exactly do her loyalties lie? Is it with the people of America or the Rothschilds? But what about the £100,000 dinner that Lynn Forrester de Rothschild arranged as a fundraiser for Hillary Clinton? Lynn Forrester made a point of telling high-profile guests at this event that they were not allowed, as she termed, to grill Clinton. Was she in fact scared of Clinton maybe saying the wrong thing? But this kind of relationship doesn't stop at the Rothschilds. The Rockefellers are managing to get their tentacles into the mix. An email from the former director of Obama's State Department Office for Global Women's Issues said that the new director at the unfinished Beijing agenda wanted to give them several $1 million to subsidise an award for innovation in empowering women that would be, and here it comes, a Rockefeller state partnership. She seems as though she is cozying up to these elite families. They control our economies, they own the central banks. The Rothschilds own or have a major controlling share in the IMF. They can change the rate of inflation with the single stroke of a pen. They also make a ton of profit from war. And I have pointed this out in my previous upload about Theresa May. Now, does Hillary want the war in Syria to be prolonged? Does she want to actually go to war with Russia? Because the way it is at the moment, if the disgruntlement goes on between them, it will kick off. But did she actually support killing innocent people as a result of getting what she wants? She wants to create a no-fly zone in Syria. And in a recent speech to Goldman & Sachs, and don't even get me started on that name, but she said to have a no-fly zone, you have to take out all of the air defence, many of which are located in populated areas. So our missiles, even if they are standoff missiles, so we are not putting our pilots at risk, you are going to have to kill a lot of Syrians. So all of a sudden, this intervention that people talk about so glibly becomes an American and NATO involvement, where you take out a lot of civilians. Now, she hasn't and won't release transcripts of this speech, despite being asked to several times. But I say it's only a speech, isn't it? And from that speech, she acquired $225,000. Now, don't forget, Tony Blair also makes as much as this for speaking to people as such as this. She even supported the Iraq War under George Bush. So when you have a look and make the connection with information that is out there, you just have to have the patience to sift through it. It doesn't look very good. Most people don't look through information though. It takes time, hours out of your day. So with that in mind, does it look as good for Trump? What exactly are his policies? What does he want to do? Well, join me on Friday in the second part of this analysis. and we will together go through Donald Trump's policies and try and find out what he really means, and in fact if these candidates really are the best ones for the job. I happen to think there are two that could have, maybe should have gone further, and the fact that one of them could well have changed the face of America. Join me on Friday. Click on the thumbs up and subscribe and you won't miss out on part 2. By all means comment in the box below on what you have listened to so far, and I'll see you again soon.